What's going on, everyone? Welcome back to another video. I'm Michigan Sports Talk here, and Michigan got some great news this morning. They have flipped a defensive line commit from Cincinnati. Gonna be going over everything you guys need to know about him, plus some other defensive line targets and some big visitors this weekend, plus some other commits we could see happen soon here for Michigan. There's been new predictions put in, plus we got some rumors ahead of the Oregon game, the latest on Will Johnson's status, the uniform combinations for both Michigan and Oregon, and also Michigan's offensive line, defensive line looking to prove themselves in this game against Oregon. It's all going to be in this video and more, so let's go ahead and get right into it. Alright, so we got some good news early this morning as Michigan got their first of many flip commits here in the 2025 class, as they have flipped the previous Cincinnati commit, the 2025 three-star defensive lineman Benny Patterson from Castle High School in the state of Indiana, and it comes right after he took a visit to Michigan this past weekend for the Michigan State game, where he was very impressed. His father told 24/7 Sports that the visit was awesome. It exceeded expectations by far, and the culture from players to coaches was impressive. Benny walked away really impressed and could see himself playing for Coach Moore. Now, Patterson has been a senior riser. He got recently a lot of offers from Florida State, LSU, Penn State, Texas Tech, Oklahoma, and Oregon were also trying to get visits from him, according to Alan True of 24/7 Sports. But the big school that Michigan really had to beat out was USC, as they offered him, and he also visited them a few weeks back. But Michigan ultimately won in the end. It's a huge pickup for Michigan. And also defensive line coach Lou Esposito. Now, when he was at Western Michigan, Esposito, he found some very good talent, and it does look like he got another potentially underrated defensive lineman to commit here to Michigan, and it is a big pickup because Michigan did lose the defensive line commit Nate Marshall. He flipped his commitment to Auburn, and Benny Patterson should play as an edge here at Michigan, but he could potentially play as a defensive tackle as well. He's a 6'4", 245-pound defensive lineman. Now, Patterson started off as a high-end MAC commit at Northern Illinois, and then he also flipped to Cincinnati and then flipped it to Michigan now. So, this is a guy that potentially could wind up being a 4-star when it's all said and done. Now, Patterson was just one of many defensive line flip targets Michigan was going after. They're still going after the Syracuse defensive line commit Quante Gillians, also Joseph Mbachu, who isn't committed anywhere, but he is a 4-star. He did recently just decommit from Florida, though. It does appear that Auburn currently leads now, so they have an on-3 prediction put in their favor. But another guy Michigan is going after is the 3-star defensive lineman Christian Ingram, and he's actually going to be back on campus for a visit this weekend for Michigan. So Michigan, they're hosting him. They're hosting the 4-star top 100 linebacker Nathaniel Owusu-Boateng. Also, they're getting back Elijah Dotson, the current Pittsburgh commit, and multiple others. So it's going to be another big recruiting weekend for Michigan, hosting multiple flip targets again, and also some top targets like Nathaniel Owusu-Boateng. Now, we also did get some news today on the 2025 4-star cornerback Grayson Littleton. Now, he did just recently decommit from Clemson, and he will be visiting Michigan this weekend, according to Tom Loy of 24/7 Sports. He is a top 100 cornerback, so all of a sudden Michigan in play for Grayson Littleton, just decommitted from Clemson today, and also will be in for a visit this weekend to Michigan. So even more big recruiting news for Michigan. But Michigan also did receive new crystal ball predictions. Sam Webb of the Michigan Insider put one in yesterday in the evening for Michigan to flip the current NC State 2025 3-star wide receiver commit Jamar Browder, as he joins Steve Lorenz also who put in a crystal ball prediction for Michigan to flip him. So that's some big news right there. He's been very impressive, a 6'4", 200-pound receiver, one of those taller, bigger receiving threats that Michigan could have, and that's something they do need. Kentucky, Missouri also going after him, but looking good right there in that recruitment. And then we obviously talked about in yesterday's video, Shamari Earls, the top 100 cornerback, currently committed to Georgia. We could see a commitment from him anytime from now to next week. So we should be getting some more good news real soon, and potentially this weekend as well. Michigan recruiting right now starting to take off. Obviously, there's been a lot of buzz around the big topic, which is Bryce Underwood, but there's a lot of other targets Michigan is having success with right now in the 2025 class. Now, one target in the 2025 class Michigan is currently trailing in right now is the recruitment of the 4-star safety Jordan Young. He's set to commit tomorrow. Michigan did get the last visit before his commitment date, but Clemson has received multiple crystal ball predictions, so not looking good there for Michigan. But they do have 2 top 100 safeties already committed out of Ivan Taylor and Kainoa Winston. So that's the latest on recruiting news for Michigan. Very exciting stuff as recruiting starting to take off here for Michigan as they look to crack in the top 10 in the 2025 class, and obviously can only go up from there depending on which big time targets they can land. I did want to talk about some rumors ahead of the Oregon game tomorrow. It's a big one. Number 1 team in the country coming into town. As far as the jerseys, Michigan will be wearing their traditional home uniforms, blue tops, maize pants, and blue accessories for this one. Oregon, on the other hand, will be wearing their Warp Speed combination, which features black and silver helmets with white jerseys and white pants. And as far as an injury update on Will Johnson, obviously that is the biggest priority for Michigan right now, because that's going to be an absolute game changer whether or not Will Johnson, can play in this one or not. There has really not been that much said on Will Johnson, and according to Chris Ballas of the Wolverine, he said a lot of folks were quiet about his status, and a lot of them thought he is still to be questionable, but nobody's really talking about it much. So maybe Michigan's doing that on purpose to kind of just make it a game time decision so Oregon doesn't know going into the game. But obviously coaches have said that Will Johnson, he wants to get back out there. He's not shutting it down. He'll be back out there eventually. And obviously on Amorion Walker, not much there. Not really much injury updates for some Michigan players, but obviously Davis Warren will be getting the start again, mixed in with Alex Orji. And I tell you what, for this offense to have success this weekend against Oregon, it starts up front with the offensive line. And if Michigan wants to win this one, it's going to come in trench play with their offensive line and their defensive line. Michigan center Greg Crippen spoke with the media this weekend. He said physicality, being more physical. When asked what the offensive line needs to prove against Oregon, we're definitely physical. I think it's just the mindset of not trying to think too much or just going out there and just trying to hit someone as hard as you can. I know we're super physical people, and I have 100% belief we're going to go out there and do that. Now, both Purdue and Boise State exceeded 200 rushing yards, 5.2 yards per carry against Oregon, and UCLA and Michigan State are the only teams Oregon did not allowed to run for at least 130 yards and 4.1 yards per carry against Oregon. So what you can take on that is, in this game, as far as the pass protection goes, it was perfect against Michigan State, and that's what led to Davis Warren's success. When he has time, he can make some very good throws and some very good decisions, and that's what Michigan's pass protection needs to look like against Oregon. But if that pass protection is not there and they're getting home against Oregon, Michigan really might have to rely on their run game this Saturday against Oregon and just find a way to put together some drives, put some points on the board. But you can't have penalties, you can't have turnovers. And as far as the defense, it's going to be tough if Will Johnson isn't out there ready to go. So the defensive line is going to have to, get a lot of pressure on Gabriel, get some sacks, make him or force him into making mistakes. And if they do that, if Michigan, wins the turnover battle, they have a chance in this one. They all have to come together and really put together their best game of the season, which we have yet to see from this Michigan team. So that's what I'll say about this upcoming game against the #1 team in the country. Oregon coming into town against what should be a very good Michigan home crowd. And hey, this team has nothing to lose. All the pressure is on Oregon in this game. So that's another plus for Michigan. But this game right here this weekend could definitely change their whole season. So it's a big one. Let me know in the comment section down below what you guys think. And other than that, that is going to wrap up this video. Also wanted to give a shout out to Michael Long, who is a Michigan Legend channel member. And obviously thank you to everybody who is a channel member. You guys can join channel memberships on the channel. But with that, hope you guys did enjoy. If you did, make sure to go ahead, drop a like, comment down below, and subscribe for more. If you are new around here, I greatly appreciate it. And other than that, we will see you guys in the next video. Go Blue.